Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. So I got so the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us on your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty, what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a long fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so charmed. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. And now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, a killing thigh. I found me a beautiful girl.
Body me LP, oh yeah,
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe, shaped like a Coke bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess, such a beauty, I'm impressed, and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man, and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty, I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows, all I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night, all I really want in my life. Oh yeah, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes, I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine, I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing thigh, I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl, beautiful girl, yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money, you seen her? Hot Ice, have you seen her? LP, have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look,
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace several presents and gifts, call me Santa Claus. I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me ass and culture, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'ma go get her. Since I'm a go getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes, I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine, I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing
touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
Man of prestige. Ha! Now this guy win. Now you win. Now you win today. Now you win. Now you win. I agree. Man of prestige. Now man you be.
I'm sure some people will be jealous now the way I talk about Ola. But I have learned a lot from him. That's why I keep telling you to follow him. If you don't follow Man of Prestige, now you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome, Chinye. What's going on? Welcome. All right. We're gonna have a good time today. I hope you guys are doing well. Yay. My camera moved, but we're still here. Let's make sure that all is safe here. All right. How's everybody doing? Do me a favor as you're coming in, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. My name is Ola. I'm coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. I am on the road. I'm in a hotel room. So pardon me if things are not the way they're normally positioned, but we're here. We're going to have a good show. The internet is better than last week because I'm in a different location. But anyway, welcome. What we do here, we generally use trendy topics. We generally use trendy topics to extract real life relationship lessons. As you can see today, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into silent treatment, which was initiated with Yvonne Jegede while she was on Honest Bunch podcast last week. So we're going to be, and then obviously we've had conversations here. We've also had conversations at Auntie B's platform. I finally caught up with that video yesterday. Last night, I watched the video. So I've already scrolled it to where the sweet spot where we need to be at. So I'm also going to be responding to the show and some of the comments in the chat as I see them. I'm going to take my time. We're just going to spend some time here. This is more or less, I guess you can call it masterclass, but we're going to catch some crews too. All right. I want to say shout out to all my sponsors such as Mo Fresh, Life with Natu, Adesua, Film Girl, Open Floor by Tima, Gores Corner, D Love 3000, Yes TV, Chidema. You can join our sponsors with the join button on the screen. Okay, and you can sponsor this show for as low as 99 cents. Right now, this month we're up to $91.23. That's fantastic. Up from $58.58 last show. So we had a video go viral. I was tempted today, maybe I should follow that same viral thing, but this thing is right here that we're about to do is much more important. That's why we're here. Okay. This is a business. Okay, we're out here as marriage coaches, my wife and I, helping people doing the Lord's work. We've written 2 books. You can download them absolutely for free at manofprestige.com. Okay, so actually like I said, this is a business. So when we cover this kind of story, it's actually much more beneficial for us, even with less views. Okay, so there you go. So just so you know, you can download those books absolutely for free at manofprestige.com. And if you need help for coaching or anything like that, you can also go to that same link, or you can send us an email at ask@manofprestige.com. With that being said, let me make sure that thing is not too loud. Why is it so loud? It feels so loud in my ears. Skip it. Cool. We're just going to chill, relax. Shout out to all 7 of you, 8 of you watching me right now. I run this platform because of you, not for the people that are catching cruise because I mentioned Kora's name or because I mentioned Yulia Duches. I run this platform because of this kind of topics. Okay, so please pay attention as we get through today's show. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to learn from you. You're going to learn from me. Okay, we're going to learn from each other. Welcome, Ses Moa. Welcome. I see you. I see Beyond Braids. Welcome. Hey, MOP Jum here. Wait, you're Jum Jum. Are you the Jum Jum that was on the show? On Auntie B's show? Are you the same Jum Jum? Let me know. Because I know there's another Jummy that... Okay, there was a Jum Jum that was on the show. Who was that? Is that you? Was it Jum Jum? I'm going to get the name. I won't get the name because I already scrolled it past the beginning of the submission. Yes, it was. Okay, great. We're going to talk about it. That's even better. That's awesome. All right, so you intentionally typed that. Okay. For some reason, I thought there's another person that actually uses the name Jumi Billionaire or something like that. I thought, yeah, your name is Jumoke. Okay, good, awesome. All right, so Sesmo said, I have a submission that introverts and extroverts lean toward different conflict resolution styles, but society is biased towards one style. I agree with you 100%. We're going to cover all that here today, right? There's personality style, there's avoidance style, there's all kind of theories out there. But I agree with you 100% that this topic is not just about right or wrong. This is when my brother, when he says you're right, he's literally missing the point. When he says you're right, my brother Uncle Beno, because we're still in the backstage, and I was trying to respond, and I saw a bunch of you're right. I was like, he didn't get it. It's not about being right, because honestly, I think all of us are right.
You're right.
Yeah, it's not about being right, you know. It's and everything I'm gonna say today are not opinions, okay? They're not just opinions. I'm sorry. I know we can't wait to say I disagree. Listen, if you want to disagree, just disagree before you hear what I have to say, okay? I'll give you that. But this topic is not about you disagreeing or agreeing to disagree. It's about rubbing minds, okay? And then you take what you want to take out of it. That's what it comes down to. All right. So let's see. I guess Zobo order. So I'm busy, but I did background. I see you live. Not too. Good to see you. Bagavad, good to see you. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna dive right in, and I'm gonna put this right here, and I'll see you in 20 seconds.
Hi, I'm Lola.
And this is Ola from Man of Prestige.
Did you know that nearly 50% of marriages end in divorce?
Studies also show that children raised in two-parent households tend to thrive.
If you're struggling in a broken relationship or marriage, you're not alone in facing these challenges.
But having a solid support system is crucial. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com. All right, welcome back. So today we're again, like we've already said, we're covering silence treatment. This is going to be, it's likely it's going to be an ongoing conversation, just warning you, okay? Because this is an epidemic, damn near pandemic, okay? It's happening everywhere in a lot of, because when you don't know what to do, there's always one side. When you don't know what you're doing, there's always one side that, you know, yield towards a cookie cutter solution that's just easy. You know, it's still painful, but it's an easier pain to endure. Some people would rather just shut down. It's a form of pain because it's painful. It feels toxic to not be in good terms with your partner, but it's a pain that they prefer in that moment as compared to the pain of handling the issue, listening to the other side, try to understand where they're coming from, not getting stuck in where you're coming from, not getting stuck in your idea of what mutual understanding look like. Just shut everything down for a second to hear where they're coming from. That is a painful process. None of these is easy. Everything I say on this show and in this series is easier said than done. Because you're somebody's daughter, you're somebody's son, and the idea that you should just subject yourself and to other people all the time in the name of making marriage work, that's like punishment, right? So yes, the process of getting to the actual lasting solution we're talking about today is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult if you find yourself in this type of potopoto. It's not easy. Okay? It's not easy. It's easier said than done. So Allah can stand on this stage and run his mouth and if you say, yeah, he thinks it's easy. You're right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now we're on the same page.
You're right.
This is difficult. But it's worth it if you can go through the process. It's worth it if you can go through the process, because it means the rest of your life in harmony. It means the rest of your life wondering what they mean by it. They're always arguing with their husband and their wife. You're always wondering, I don't have that experience, right? We were covering a video here the other time, and there's a guy called Michael Jai White, actor, and his wife Gillian White, and they were talking about they don't know what it feels like to argue. When people say marriage is hard, they can't relate. And if you go in the comments, you can see people cap. Well, I understand a lot of people are dealing with very toxic situations that are being normalized, or they found a way to cope. One of the ways they might cope is keeping malice, or we can call it an extended shutdown, not a shutdown, okay, not a withdrawal. Those are different things. A shutdown so that you can actively listen to what they're saying. See, that's a little bit different, right? That's actually a healthy thing to do. Okay, I have ideas of my own, but let me shut it down. See, I just used the word shut down. Shut it down so I can see where he's coming from, or preferably for me, see where she's coming from, because you're a king. You don't compete with women. Okay? So see where she's coming from with these crazy ideas. Let's see. Right? Shutting that down temporarily so you can gauge where they're coming from, or so you can disengage from a very escalated toxic argument. Hopefully no more than 24 hours, right? It's okay to sleep over it, but no more than 24 hours. That will be healthy. That's okay, because we're human beings, and sometimes we get into basketballs and we can't get through what were our thoughts, or the other person is not making sense to you, right? That's an evidence that you're a regular human being like the rest of us. But once it's getting past that, then we're not animals. We're not just random animals that we just act out anyhow. No, we have to have structure, right? We have to have some rules, some principles that we follow, so we don't self-sabotage or shoot ourselves on the legs, right? So keeping malice, there are some meanings, dictionary meanings. I don't rock with dictionary meanings. I know many people do, so I'm forced to go into dictionary meanings and say, okay, you're happy. A lot of the dictionary meanings are old. They're outdated. They're disconnected from how we use certain words in real life, right? And that disconnect can create discombobulation, can create basketballs, right? So when you say hustle, I think you're thinking you're calling me a thief. And from where I was raised, you're calling me a thief. And the other, you're just meaning like, oh, I'm a hustler. You say I'm over ambitious. And I'm like, I'm not over ambitious. I'm just ambitious. And then I'm taking it personally. And then I'm arguing with you right now. See, because basketballs, whereas I could just say, what do you mean, right? Because it's not just dictionary meanings, especially when you're dealing with interpersonal relationship. There's too many nuances to get stuck on dictionary meanings. So yes, malice in the dictionary means somebody with bad intentions, somebody who wants to outrightly hurt you, right? But even at that, we can shape that meaning back to what we're talking about, because sometimes you mean to hurt people, but you might not realize you're hurting them, but you mean to do what you're doing that's hurting them. Now, can they receive it as you're hurting them? In which case, we call it abuse. They feel it as abuse. You're like, no, I'm not abusing you, because you think that's not your intentions. But that's not how that works, okay? because there's two people involved. And if you care for that relationship, then you should be concerned about how your actions will be interpreted on the other side. So if it's interpreted on the other side as abuse, it becomes effectively abuse. Not because I hate you, not because I don't like your own meaning. It's because you subscribe to the relationship and one side of that relationship is considering it to be abusive. So never mind your argument and dictionary meanings. You need to pay attention to that. Okay, we don't care if it's right or wrong, remember? But that becomes a reality in your relationship. You should pay attention to it. So maybe it's just a misunderstanding. But how are you going to detect it's a misunderstanding if you're just dismissing it? Like, no, it's not abuse. That's how you call everything abuse. Everything that woke. Well, if you're dismissing it, that doesn't make it go away. It becomes resentments. Okay? So malice, yes, in dictionary meaning means evil. Somebody's outrightly trying to, but like they said numerous times on that show, on Auntie B's show, keeping malice is used a little bit differently in Nigerian context. It literally means silent treatment. That is synonymous. Okay, it means there's another word. You become cold turkey, stonewalling. Okay, you just like, okay, I can't handle the conversation, it's too much for me. That's it. Shut it down. Okay, shut it down because I need some time away. That's different. That can actually be healthy because you back up from the situation. I talk about that here all the time. Sometimes you have to back off from the situation. Actually, matter of fact, most of the time, you should back off from a toxic argument, escalated argument. You should back off most of the time. Okay, when I say most of the time, I mean not 95% of the time, like 99.999% of the time. All right, so malice means ill will or desire to do harm to someone. That's what malice means by itself, right? And keeping malice, when you say something keeping, you're talking about, negative feelings are being held. Okay, so feelings, bring it down to actually harming, bring it down to feelings. Now we're talking about actually holding grudges, negative feelings held onto someone, against someone rather, for some time. Okay, so like I said, negative feelings is not necessarily it's a feeling. So you don't exactly control it. You can influence it. You can surround yourself. You can drink water. You can take a cold shower. You can take some wine, and then your feeling might be flipped a little bit different. You might feel a little bit better, right? But the point here is that you have negative feelings. So it's not an idea of calling it criminal. That's why it's not about right and wrong. Most people that participate in this bad behavior, keeping malice, they're not necessarily doing it from a place of intentions like that. It's often a coping mechanism. Like they just can't stand confrontation. I think Jim is going to mention that also. Okay. So people might yield towards that type of pain because it's an easier pain to hold things together. Maybe oftentimes you find that they mean well. Maybe they didn't mean it to last so long, but it gets awkward. It gets extended out of proportion, and then also you're not sure how the other person is going to respond. You don't want the rejection if you go towards them first, right? So it's never as simple as right and wrong. No, it's never like when we're talking about this relationship thing. Please stop trying to make it about right and wrong. It's about you leave your own body for a second and try to understand that other people have ways of receiving the experience that both of you are creating together. Okay? So that's keeping malice. Keeping malice is synonymous to silent treatment within the context of what we're going to be talking about today. Holding a grudge is quite intentional, but oftentimes you might not want to call it that when it's between husband and wife because you have to do things together, right? But withdrawing certain activities, withdrawing certain interactions because you want to make a point, right? It's a sign of lack of skills. It's incompetence on the part of a woman or a man. Okay, It's like, okay, let me use this other thing to get them to do what I want them to do. Have you considered the negative impact of that? Short term, mid term, but also long term. There are people right now that their husband shut down on them 8 years ago, right? And up to today, they can't get over it. They can't trust him. And they wonder where the lack of trust is coming from. Because they're like, I don't cheat. I don't sleep with other women. After all, I help you wash your pata every day. So why can't you trust me? Majority of the issues in marriages are not about cheating. I don't know how soon I can get that to your head. Okay? Especially if you're a Yankee. The idea of randomly cheating, willingly people cheat. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, it's not the same thing as, it's an expensive lifestyle. And besides that, anyway, that's not really majority of people's issues. Majority of people's issues is communication. Just simple as it sounds. Like communication. Like, can I make you understand me? Can I attempt to understand you without getting into basketballs? Just before I got on this show, I was listening to something on TikTok. And the guy was going in. The wife doesn't work. The guy has a good business. They have fantastic, beautiful business, right? According to him. And they have been blessed to buy a house cash in America. They bought a house cash. And the single point of contention, simple and single, is that their AC has been broken for a few days and there's a delay in getting the guy there to fix it. The lady has fear of some kind of flies coming in the house. So she doesn't want to keep the windows open. The guy said, please open the windows so that we don't choke from heat. Right? And whenever he comes back from work, the house is steamy and hot and he's pissed off, annoyed. And he's like, is God, I beg you, please don't keep these windows shut. And he seems very frustrated, and he said there are other issues that they have going on like that. You see, these are the kind of issues we're talking about. Okay? These are the kind of issues we're talking about. But I wanted to do a quick small monologue like that because we have reaction to do today. We're already 28 minutes in. Let me see the chat before I continue. Welcome, Chidima. Welcome. Good to see you. Yes, Beyond Braid, it's not about faults. It's about, there's an understanding that we need to get to here. My goal is to get you to agree with the fact, not opinion, that silent treatment is a terrible form of communication. And also, I also want to educate you. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but through this series, I want to educate you that there are better and more effective and lasting solutions to get your wife, your husband to hear you out. You've done it before. That's why they married you or you married them. So you can do it again. I just have to show you 1 or 2 or 3 different tactics to tap back to your original space. You know that moment when you were in love? Because if they don't like you like that, of course, they won't hear you out. And there are many husbands and wives that are living together. They don't really like each other like that. And they wonder why they're struggling. And they're the same people that will come and tell us you should not be friends with your husband and wife.
Not be juju be that.
Again, a cookie cutter, easy yield to solution that seems like it makes sense on paper, because after all, see, if we can remove the C finish and just act, everybody do their roles. Just do your roles, okay, so that we can be happy. No, you're not going to be happy still. This is not your boss. This is not your subordinate. Anyway, Beyond says, so if malice and grudges couldn't describe withdrawal from conversation temporarily in order to avoid fight or name calling, what word can be used to describe it then? That, withdrawal, right? Withdrawal. I always use back off from the situation. If it's toxic and you can't get your point across, you're probably heated up, you're caught up in your emotions. No, there's no communication that's going to be effective because you're probably angry and upset. You're caught up in your emotions. So that conversation is going to be laced with emotions on both sides. You're probably triggering each other. Just back off. So we don't have to have a term for it. And that's one of the points I also wanted to make. I think we were stuck on the semantics of the words way too much. Okay, let's pretend we didn't know what we're talking about. What it means is if it's more than 24 hours and you haven't spoken to your spouse, that's toxic. Okay, regardless of why you did it, it's toxic. Okay, and if you keep doing it, you will create damages that you might not be able to reverse. That's the point. We don't have to have a terminology for this. This is one of the things that I saw was wrong with the conversation thus far. It's like shut down, I be withdraw, and I be his grudges about malice, I be his dictionary. It doesn't matter. If you're not talking, you're in the same house, and you're holding grudges against each other. It's toxic. It doesn't matter who is right or wrong. You're going to damage that relationship beyond repairs at some point. It's only a matter of time. All right? Because as much as you might not see it as a big deal, this is just how we were raised. The other person, more than likely, sees it as a big deal. They can't express it for the same reason. They are afraid to express it, right? But the day they are done, they are done. And then to be like, oh, it came out of nowhere. Nah, bro, it didn't come out of nowhere. You just didn't know. you just never expected it.
I never expected it.
Alright, so it's a lot deeper than just calling it malice. Yes, it's not about the names. It's not about that. I think what separates them will be duration of silence. Yes, that's for us to put the duration is not a written hard rule stone too. It's just that for a typical person, right? More than 24 hours you're not talking to your spouse, that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good on someone. At least one of the parties. Well, that's it. That's what I want them to feel so they can know we have to fix it. No, they will help you fix it, but they will also sow a seed of resentment and it will bite you in the butt at some point later on from a blind spot. Some is up for cultural interpretation and local context. No, we don't have to make it that complicated. We have to also, as much as we know that it's a complex thing, right? Human beings are already complex, right? But in order to put some kind of system in place, we can also look at patterns. We can look at how we behave. And we can say, you know what? Let's create a rule. No, but there shouldn't be any rule. No, it's okay to create rules because the government will do it for you anyway. If you don't create rule, when you end up in divorce court, there will be rules. Okay? In my jurisdictions, they force you to go through some kind of mediation as part of the rules. Right? As if you want to go to trial, you can go to trial too. And then as part of the rules, the lawyer will collect your money. He said, lawyer, Uncle Ben said, lawyers down the street. That lawyer will be free. He will collect your money. He will squeeze every dime out of your pocket. Oh, by the way, the other side of the lawyer, oh my God. They don't care about your children like that. They don't care about your children at all. They will drag you in the pot. You won't like yourself when you're done with it. Traumatic. Go and ask anybody that have gone through it. Okay? Allah only get a divorce, Uncle Beno. It's not something to throw around and fly around anyhow. I mentioned this to my brother. He knows we're having this conversation. Okay? It's not something anybody pray for. It happens. It's okay. We don't shame it because sometimes it's just the best solution, divorce. But it's not something that we just no. It's not something you should throw around as a threat with your partner. It's terrible idea. It's just as bad as silent treatment. You don't threaten your partner with divorce. Directly, indirectly, subtly. Don't do that. Don't do that because there's a good chance you're speaking from a place of fear and you attract what you fear the most. All right, so this is a good topic. More daily, good to see you. I used to be really bad, going for days without talking to my hubby, and he would still be talking to me. From my view, I had explained to him that it's how we loved growing up. Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring to this conversation, that it's not about you being a bad person when you did it. Because I saw some comments, now I feel bad. I know it's not about feeling bad. It's about knowing better, right? It's about improving yourself. We all need to improve ourselves, including, oh, by the way, those ones that don't shut down, they have their own bad habits. They are the ones that tend to apologize very quickly to brush things under the rug. It's just as bad. Oh, you never expected that, right?
I never expected it.
Yeah, it's not about right or wrong on one side is better. It's about this coping mechanism, this problem solving methodology is not good. Don't rush to apology. Understand what you're apologizing first before you're apologizing. If you're apologizing just because you want to take the higher road, be clear that's why you're apologizing. Don't have any expectations around that, because Yusuf, you go collect. All right, so again, like I said, let's get into some of this conversation. I was trying to see, because you guys won't let me go now. You already have a bunch of chats here. Let me read through them real quick, and then we'll start with the reaction. Odile said, I'm getting better, but I just don't want to talk when I'm upset. That's fine. Give yourself some time. Explain to your partner, like, I need time when I'm upset. That's not what silent treatment is, right? God don't teach me in some ways, honestly. That's good. That's awesome. Thanks for these 24 hours guidelines, MOP, because the semantics can sometimes get in the way of receiving the message. Yes, 24 hours, meaning if it's late night in the evening, some people say you shouldn't sleep over it. Me, I say it's okay to sleep over it. It's okay. 24 hours go beyond a night's sleep. But after you don't sleep and you don't wake up and you still want to keep grudge, and then we wait a few more hours, and then we went to work, and then we came back, and you still want to keep grudge, something is terribly wrong with that method. Not with you, because a lot of people do this. Something is wrong with that method of coping with conflict. It's a terrible way to cope with conflict and communication breakdown. Okay, so while you are wallowing in that, because some people they enjoy it, maybe the way they were raised, for real. They kind of like, in weird ways, I call it weird ways because it's still painful. In weird ways, they kind of enjoy it, but it's still better for them. It feels better than confronting the issues and discussing it. Or they don't want to do this, already awkward, it's thick, and there's certain personalities that shy away from, like, okay, we could talk now. There's personalities like that, you know? And also some men are having, thank God Auntie B mentioned that, they have a hard time getting their point across to their lady. It's part of their lack of skills, but ladies, it's something you should be aware of, because you can also help. Of course, you're the helper. You can also help to make the conversation a lot more easier. Yes, his personality might just shut down. Just because he's using the wrong tactic does not mean both of you will not collect. Just so you know, it's not about one side over the other. It's about learning. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm asked to bring $5,000 and it can increase. What are we talking about? What did I miss? Did I miss something before? I mean that keeping malice is a Nigerian phrase mostly. I did not know it meant silent treatment until it was broken down for me. Yeah, keeping malice is, well, in this context, you know, but again, malice has deeper meanings. But the way Nigerians mostly use it means you're holding a grudge and you're not talking. Let's see, especially with how Yvonne deeply wounded May with her statement, and the next day she's quickly apologizing. Some people are too careless with their words. Well, that apology was solid, and they're not married. That's fine. You know, it's also okay to make mistakes, right? But we're talking about husband and wife. If as a repeated pattern, you start to notice that your apology doesn't mean anything to your partner anymore, it's what I'm talking about. There has to be patterns to call this a thing. If it's a one-off, if it's a two-off, every other, then you're not really, of course you can apologize to your, but if you notice that your spouse does not value your apologies anymore, you should pay attention. It's not because they don't want to forgive. It's because your apology doesn't mean anything anymore. Like anything else, oversupply becomes no value. Like economics, right? Very, very simple concept, but very hard when it's time to apply it to human emotions. But keep it simple. They will apologize and will keep repeating the same issue over and over. Exactly. So the apology becomes meaningless. You're correct. Malice has a Nigerian meaning different from the legal Western meaning. It doesn't matter. We're talking about not talking to your spouse for more than 24 hours on a repeated basis. Become a pattern. So that 24 hours tend to become 3 weeks. For some people, you saw some testimonies. I don't know why I call it testimonies. Some people said they haven't spoken for 3 years. At that point, 3 years, that's when they decided to file for divorce. It's not because they decided I'm just going to be shut down. It's because it becomes awkward and awkward and awkward and awkward. Just like if you've ever refrained from sex, right, for a while and you're trying to get back into it, there's a little bit of awkward energy, right, that you have to overcome, right? Yeah, it gets very, very thick, you know. So when I think about it a bit deeply, it's a reflection of the philosophy around forgiveness and victims being held responsible for forgiveness. Yes, we can't manipulate with forgiveness either. So let's get into it. Let's get into Jim's submission yesterday, and then we'll hold it.
Yeah.
So I was really disappointed, but for the malice matter, and to be, I can keep malice.
Okay, so she said for the malice matter, I can keep malice. Can you guys hear that? I want to make sure you guys can hear that before I continue. Let me know if you can hear that. Let me know if you can hear that while I play a little bit of dividing thing here. I'll be right back in 20 seconds.
Offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.
All right, great. You guys can hear it. So let's do it.
I'm trying to be better, but I can keep malice.
Ooh. Why? Why do you keep malice?
Because I hate confrontation. So when I'm angry, and you know that you have wronged me, I always expect that you use common sense to just be like, okay, I'm sorry. And I hate a patronizing apology. I hate apology. Like, okay, let me say it and forget. I want you to mean what you say. And when I'm angry, I start crying. I'm just a person that I cannot articulate my words. So I get passionate, I start talking, then I start crying. So and then the next thing that you will see now, it progresses to violence. So I'll start throwing things, I'll start banging the door. So I just keep quiet. That's how.
So you break things?
No, not break things.
Women, when you're angry, that you'll be breaking things?
No, I'll just be banging the door. If you come near me.
All right, so let's clear that up real quick. We'll get into it. So confrontation, absolutely. Some people don't like confrontation. So what do? Right? They do it in different types of ways. They might be like, don't talk to me. Don't hold me. Don't like, right? I think women do that for the most part, actually. But when people like, they don't want to they're that upset, right? Shut down, right? So we're still talking about shut down. It's not intentional. It's still somebody avoiding communication. It's actually called avoidant style, right? But this is how some people respond to crisis. Is it competent? No, it's not there's no competence in that, right? There are actual skills that you can apply to how you respond, right? Sometimes you learn it over a lifetime. I prefer that I learn it. Why do you want to wait a lifetime, lose a few relationships before you learn that, right? You can learn it now and say, hey, I'm upset, I'll just listen. Okay? This thing is upsetting me, I'll just listen. I'll ask open-ended questions. We've talked about that here before. What do you mean? Okay, let me process that. That's a lot for me. Let me process that. No, honestly, I need to sleep. Okay, I'm not going to respond. So shutting down short term like that, that's okay, right? That's okay. But throwing things, violence, why? No, you just bang the table. It's worse. It's worse than actually banging people. Oh, you didn't know. You never expected that. No, it's worse to actually bang anything than bang people, because obviously you don't mean to bang people. But what if you bang the table and this bottle flies off the table and hit a little baby on the side? No, that's a no. We have to mention that, right? That's somebody that's really, really upset, right? Take time off and build yourself. There's something about you that's making you react that way. So we're already aligning silent treatment with even before we get to silent treatment, this way of responding to crisis, we're already aligning that with that. Okay, no, it's right. It's time to learn something new. right? We don't just wake up and say, hey, that's how I do it. I'm just going to do it that way. No, Uncle Beno, no. Anything that's worthwhile in life, we're going to have to learn the proper way to respond. And it's not unique to individuals, right? So banging tables and just going to shut down is not skillful ways of responding to crisis. Instead of shutting down, there's also another form of shutdown. We're not worried about semantics. Imagine if you just go quiet, but you engage your active listening. Active listening, it takes a lot more strength, emotional strength. It takes a lot more emotional strength than banging the table or shutting down, right? Actively say, I'm not going to say a lot, but I'm going to listen. So what do you mean? So when you say this, you mean this, you mean this. Okay, I disagree with that, but this is how I see it, right? They're talking, you're not like, me too, I still want to talk. Can I talk? Can I say something? Once you start doing, can I do? You guys do that in argument. You know you do that, right? Like, okay, you've been talking. Can I say something too? That means you were not listening. You were listening to respond, right? As opposed to listening to understand. You've heard these things before, but you never expected that it's going to be this hard. You listen to understand, meaning potentially you actually might not have anything to say at the end of their submission. You might just find out that, somehow you understand where they're coming from. And if you have anything to say, it will be a function of what they've said, meaning you actually took the time to understand what they said, and then you say, I hear you. This is what I understand about what you said. If it's that bad, sometimes you have to spell it out like that. This is what I feel. May I offer some alternatives, right? It's going to be awkward if you're not used to that. If you're used to just, we just fall in love, we have sex, and everything is fine. If you're used to that, what I just explained to you is going to feel a little bit awkward because it's like everything is kind of structured, but it's just for now. It's just you're learning new skill sets. Eventually, it blends into your lifestyle and to the in-love experience that you have with your spouse, and then you have a better experience. But you have to go through that work, and that is not easy. The work is not. That work will drag you. Woto. Okay? Your emotions will be all over the place. You will feel cheated. You will feel like somebody's having one up on you. But again, we're trying to change bad habits. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay? But let's keep going. Hello, Sam. This lady made me raise an eyebrow. It's an expensive reaction. Expecting someone to use their common sense to figure out how they have offended you is immature. We have her here, by the way. She's laughing. That's her laughing right there. Now, here's the thing. I've tackled the common sense thing here a lot, right? Common sense. I tell you, common sense is a terrible guide to life. Terrible guide to life. Every one of us have common sense. At least we will claim we have common sense. At least we would like to think we have common sense. But also, about almost 75% of us end up in terrible relationships, right? And no, we can't just blame it on the other person. You attracted that situation. There's something. So common sense, unfortunately, you have to put it where it belongs. When it comes to the Prestige family, at least. Okay? Yeah. But she was saying that within a certain context. She was saying that she expects somebody to use common sense to apologize when they've wronged them, right? That's also assuming that the person wants to wrong you intentionally, right? So that's an assumption that you got off your butt from your father's house to go and marry somebody that wants to wrong you intentionally. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper, but when we go back, in circle, it comes right back to you, right? So, but let's not deviate, right? But anytime we bring in common sense, I want your readers to go off like common sense. Okay, what about beyond common sense? Because my common sense is basically how I was raised, how I was pre-programmed, and I know that there's something better than how I was pre-programmed. This is true for 100% of us. Okay, how you were pre-programmed is not what you want to be using, because we're talking about at least 20, 30, 40 years before now, and there's something this whole thing is a moving target. Change is inevitable. So if you're using how you were raised and you're not learning anything new, you're probably going to create more problems, you know? Ola, you are describing an Indian movie. Oh, bottle hit the baby on the head. No. It happens. It happens. People get hurt. People get hurt when things are, yeah, but you're right. I described the movie. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue the video.
Me, I will push you away. Like, I don't want, you understand? I'm not, I don't break this. No. I just don't want you to come near me. If you are not coming to my level, the way I see it is that if you are not coming to my level, if you are not understanding where I'm coming from or why I'm angry, because I don't like fights. I don't like to. I'm that person, and I know that it's not possible for you to be in a relationship and not have issues or confrontation. I just feel like there are better ways before it gets to that level. There are better ways you can. Yeah, actually, I like to talk, but there's some. Okay, my husband is different. He goes from 100 to 0 to 100. Me, there's a progression to it. So if you have wronged me, I'll be like, I don't like this thing. Oh, stop it. Okay, but him, he will not say anything. All of a sudden, you just, I'm like, where did it come from? You understand?
Yeah,
so we are different. That's why
we are different. But you know what? Malice is anybody that is here that is listening, whether you're a man or woman that keeps malice, you really need to work on it.
Yes.
Because actually, keeping malice with someone.
All right. So let me address something real quick. So she said her husband goes from 0 to 100, but I wanted to point something out. She also said there's a point that she made here that sounds almost like Uncle Beno's point. Let me see here. Oh, let's go back. We're back too far. There's a point that sounded almost like exactly the same thing Uncle Beno was saying.
I'm that person, and I know that it's not possible for you to be in a relationship and not have issues or confrontation. I just feel like there are better ways before it gets to that level. There are better ways you can. Yeah, actually, I like to talk, but there's some. Okay, my husband is different. He goes from 100 to 0 to 100. Me, there's a progression to it. So if you have,
she's right that there's a progression to malice. People just don't land in malice, which is the reason why we say fix it. There's some things you can do before you get into that space. So she's right about that part, right?
Wrong me, I'll be like, I don't like this thing. Oh, stop it. Okay, but him, he will not say anything. All of a sudden, you just, I'm like, where did it come from? You understand?
Yeah,
so we are different. That's why.
We are different.
We are different. Definitely sound like Uncle Beno. We're all different. The way we handle things definitely sound like Uncle Beno's point. No, we're not that different. Okay. We're creating the same. We're creating an experience with another human being. Okay. So, like, while we're different, at some point we're going to have to apply some healthy methodology for everybody to feel, because we're still social, emotional beings, and we want to connect. That's a basic human being need. In order to do that, you have to align with other people, right? So as different as we are, we have to also use much more healthier methods, you know?
Friend, but you know what? Malice is anybody that is here that is listening, whether you're a man or woman that keeps malice, you really need to work on it.
Yes.
Because actually, keeping malice with someone is a form of abuse.
I know.
It is.
She said, I know. She's heard it enough. Like, I know. Stop. I know.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a video I was watching before we started the show. I shared it in all the groups. I'm still going to share it in my community. Ola did it. It's just a short. It's never up to 5 minutes. When he was talking about 5 things you must know, or things that you can still do. And in that video, Ola was talking about, maybe I should even just play it now. He was talking about conflicts, as it's normal for you to have conflict in a relationship. There's no relationship where there is no conflict or misunderstanding. If you know that, then you will know peace. So it's not about you having misunderstanding or having conflict.
All right. So how many of you have seen the video she's talking about? How many of you have seen the video that she's talking about? The video that we have on our secondary sister platform. We have another platform that's strictly for marriages. It's called the Prestige Marriage Academy. How many of you have seen the video? If you haven't seen it, let me know right now that you haven't seen it. Have you seen the video about the 5 things you should probably prepare for? You haven't seen it? Anybody have seen it? No? Welcome, AG or Hiho. Let's see. Yeah. So there's a lot of common sense will land you. Yep, in the quarter. You haven't seen the video. You've not seen the video. Where have you guys been? Okay, no wonder there's only 5 subscribers on it. Okay, so in this channel right here, Let me make it bigger. I'll play for you guys real quick. We only have 4 videos on it so far, so they are short videos. They are for my clients, but you can use it. It's called you can also find it on the homepage of the YouTube channel, of this YouTube channel. It's called Prestige Marriage Academy. I think it's this one, 5 things before marriage. There you go. Grab a cup of coffee, get comfy. So 5 things to know before marriage and why it's never too late to learn. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Ola, and today we're diving into something super important. 5 things to know before marriage and why it's never too late to learn. Whether you're single, engaged, or already married, these insights can help you build or rebuild a strong foundation for your relationship. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's jump right in. Thing number 5, conflict is inevitable. Let's kick things off with the big one. Conflict is inevitable. Now, when I first married my wife Lola, I thought our disagreements were pretty mild. But as it turned out, Lola saw things very differently. She resented any moment of conflict, which made it hard for us to resolve our issues. We ended up pushing our problems under the rug, which only made things worse. Before we got married, we seemed to agree on everything. I was raised to see a disagreement as just that, a disagreement. But for Lola, arguments triggered a lot of fear and anxiety. It felt like we were speaking different languages. Our premarital counseling didn't really prepare us for this. It is not that our counselor didn't cover conflict resolution, but we just couldn't grasp it without the real life experience of conflict. And what I want to share with you is that conflict resolution skills are crucial. You need to know how to handle disagreements constructively. Thing number 4, friendship is non-negotiable. Next up is friendship. In recent times, I've seen a lot of people, especially women, dismissing the idea of being friends with their spouses. This often comes from past disappointments. Imagine falling in love with someone you consider your best friend, only to be betrayed by them. It's natural to associate that betrayal with the idea of friendship. Early in our marriage, Lola and I questioned everything that made us fall in love, including our friendship. I wondered if she was ever truly my friend, and I felt disrespected because we were so close. This confusion lasted for years until we realized we were sabotaging one of the best parts of our relationship. Friendship in marriage is an opportunity, not a threat. If you feel like you've never had a natural friendship with your partner, it can be built. Leverage the positive attributes you have in common as romantic partners. Genuine liking, even if it's not sexual, is a great foundation. Since we started seeing our friendship as an opportunity, conflict resolution has become almost effortless. It's been blissful. Thing number 3, it's not how long, it's how well. When we first discovered our prestige marriage system, people would often ask, so you think you have all the answers? I saw this as fear stemming from their own personal trauma. After about 9 to 10 years of marriage and discovering the secrets of the prestige marriage system, we learned to release our obsession with the past and our anxiety about the future. The secret is simple. Wake up every day determined to make it the best day ever in your marriage. Address issues openly and honestly as they arise. With respect to emotional intelligence, focus on the quality of your marriage on a moment-to-moment basis. This approach not only builds a quality marriage but also increases the chances of having a long-term happy relationship. Thing number 2, in marriage, you need game. There's a common saying that goes, there's nothing worse than marrying the wrong person. While it's natural for people in terrible relationships to feel this way, it often comes down to a lack of knowledge and skills. This speaks to a level of arrogance and disrespect as an institution. Think about it. We don't treat any other institution this way. We don't jump into a job or a degree program without preparation and then blame fate when it doesn't work out. Yet, many people do this with marriage. They wing it, and when it fails, they say things like, I married the wrong person. In reality, it's often a lack of game or skills. That's the problem. There are principles that apply across the board in marriage, and it's crucial to learn and apply them. Your game should focus on self-awareness, power dynamics, social skills, attraction, and emotional intelligence. Effective communication isn't just about talking assertively, it's about understanding and being understood. When you approach marriage with intentionality and a willingness to acquire skills, you set yourself up for success. Throwing your hands up and leaving things to luck is a losing strategy. Thing number one, sex is a necessity. Lastly, let's talk about sex. Growing up, neither my parents nor Lola's parents gave us any kind of sex education. We had to figure out what's healthy and what's not on our own. On top of that, sex was heavily demonized in our religious communities. While these teachings were meant to promote self control, they backfired. Sex is a part of reality and human needs. Avoiding it is counterproductive. It's necessary to educate yourself about sex in marriage. Healthy sex life feeds your marriage just as much as healthy relationship feeds your sex life. A healthy sex life also impacts other areas of life. It fosters a strong connection at home, which in turn fuels an exciting life outside the marriage. You can almost always tell when someone is sexually fulfilled at home by how they carry themselves professionally. As part of mastering the game inside marriage, one crucial aspect to understand is that you should never lead with sex. Even when the primary issue at hand is sexlessness, this might sound counterintuitive, but let's break it down. Sex is an intimate and sensitive topic, and when it becomes a point of contention, approaching it directly and aggressively can create additional tension and discomfort. Leading with demands or complaints about sex can make your partner feel pressured, judged, or inadequate. This often leads to defensiveness and further withdrawal, causing even more problem instead of solving it. Instead of focusing on building a strong emotional connection and fostering open and non-judgmental communication, start by addressing the underlying issue that might be affecting your intimacy. Are there unresolved conflicts, stressors, or emotional barriers? Often a lack of sexual intimacy is a symptom of deeper issues within the relationship. Start with something as simple as, "What's wrong, babe? You know you can trust me, right?" Prioritize creating a safe and loving environment where your partner feels valued and understood. Show appreciation for them and engage in activities that strengthen your bond outside the bedroom. This could be anything from spending quality time together, engaging in shared hobbies, or simply being more affectionate in everyday interactions. As you work on strengthening your emotional connection with attraction, sex should feel almost effortless at that point. Express your desires without placing blame or making demands. For example, you might say, "I miss the closeness we used to have, and I would love for us to find a way to reconnect in that way," rather than, "We never have sex anymore, and that's a problem." This approach helps you to build trust and openness, making it easier for your partner to engage in conversations about improving your sex life. When they feel safe and appreciated, they're more likely to be receptive to finding solutions together. Remember, sex is an important part of marriage, but it thrives on the foundation of emotional intimacy, respect, and understanding. By leading with empathy and focusing on strengthening your overall relationship, you'll create an environment where a fulfilling and mutually satisfying sex life can naturally flourish. So there you have it. 5 essential things to know before marriage and why it's never too late to learn. Conflict is inevitable. With the right skills, you can handle it. 2, friendship is non-negotiable and it's an opportunity, not a threat. 3, focus on the quality of your marriage rather than length. 4, in marriage, you need game, the skills to navigate challenges effectively. And lastly, sex is a necessity for a healthy, fulfilling relationship. If you're already in a marriage and you're going through any of these issues, it's not too late. I suggest that you avoid being confrontational and consider using the help of a coach to help you navigate and facilitate your desired outcome. It's worth it. If you don't already have a coach, go to www.prestigemarriageacademy.com to secure one immediately. Over there, I will also give you immediate access to our books for free, Get My Marriage Back, and Number One Red Flag. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or any questions you have. I love hearing from you. Until next time, remember to love deeply, live fully, and keep building that strong, beautiful marriage. Take care. All right. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yes, you can. All right, so go ahead and subscribe to this channel because we'll be dropping videos there. Uniquely, it's Marriage Academy. Okay. All right, so back to this. We catch a lot of crews here, matter of prestige. So I want to keep it that way. I want to continue to yield to, But we kind of talked about, let's see, AG Ohio says, Ola, please, can you talk more on what you meant when you said it's a game? I'm not in tune with that. Are you saying people are in it for their own or manipulative means? No, very far from it, okay? Game actually, yes, it's skills, exactly. I said that it's the skills to navigate. When you say you got game, like you're dating a young girl, or you're trying to woo a young, or you have ability to attract people to you, or in the context of you got game, meaning you have the skills, meaning you're just capable, like there's something about you that just attracts greatness to you, right? So not game plan. You got game, it's skills. Just look at it as skills, okay? So in this context, when we're talking about marriage, obviously we have to mean skills, but it's your ability to attract your desires, okay? You understand beyond just right and wrong, the principles that attract greatness to you, okay? The principles that helps you navigate seemingly effortlessly. Like everybody looks at you like that guy got game, because they're looking at you, they're saying it looks very effortless, like he's not struggling at all. So when you are inside of a marriage and people are looking at both of you and they're saying their couple goals or something like that, and they are trying to wadi and they still can't find ed, right? Because people try. But anyway, the point is that you got game, meaning you attract what most other people desire. And it seems like it's effortless. It's really never effortless. It's just that you never see when LeBron James is throwing those shots about 200 times within the next 10 minutes. Because then when he's playing on a big stadium, it looks like it's perfect. He's King James, right? But that's what it means. I think I've done enough on that. Okay. So playing games in the context of you're playing games with somebody, it's not what we're talking about, because we're talking about a person who is part of you. Part of game is understand that person is you, right? Especially if you're a man. Part of game is understanding that if you don't respect that person, is literally you don't respect yourself, right? That's part of game. So there's a lot, but it just means the overall skill set, right? The art and the sciences of attracting romantic love in a way that seems effortless. All right. If it's a game, both will be like living in pretense. No, absolutely not. You don't say that when you go to work. You actually, if they give you training, you go to training and you become very good at it, and then we can say he got game. If we were talking about romance, right? So no, it's not playing games in that way. Game is basically having skills. Yes, that means there are rules and principles that need to be followed. Yes, at least until it becomes second nature. When it becomes second nature, people look at you and say you got game. So it's not like you're actively sitting there, let me manipulate them, let me see if I can get them to agree with me by shutting down for the next 3 days. That will be manipulation, right? That's why they call it abusive. All right, more comfortable with principles when people say you've got game. No, not games. You got game. It's usually not a positive thing. No, it's always a positive thing. Depends on where you're listening to. It's always, okay, so here's another angle. Let me dissect this a little bit with 60 seconds. If I tell a person, if I tell a young guy that if I look at him and say, oh, he got game, right? That means a lot of girls are attracted to him from time to time. They don't know why. The other kids, they seem like they're the good guy, but nobody comes to So in that sense, you can see it as, oh, so it's good or bad. No, it's just that the one that think they are good, they think being good is enough. The reality is that there's certain things that that person is doing that's making all the girls be attracted to him. Okay, and it's usually not a bad thing. It could just be in a class setting. Maybe you are in GSS2. It could just be, it makes them laugh. It could be that simple. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Now, when we think of it as bad things, some people go to the flip end of it. They want to be a good person, and then they come back to the internet later on and tell us that only the bad girls are getting good husband. No, that's why we prefer to use having game. You need game in relationships, particularly if you have to bring it down to one word, we mean skills. So stay with us. But I get what you mean though, but stay with us. Let's get back to this conversation about silent treatment. Jum is still talking.
You must, even siblings, when we're growing up, we used to disagree. We disagree with our parents. So how much more a man that was raised in a different environment, maybe a different country, different home, different values, and you yourself completely different. You now come together, fuse your life together, you stay in the same house. Ask me how would there not be conflict? Somebody would say, oh, the way we cook beans in our house is that we used to we wash the beans first before we cook it. The other one will say, no, we cook it first, then we'll now remove it and pour water. You know, that kind of a thing.
That's true.
There will always be conflicts. But it is learning, and this is a learning for all of us. Hey, if you keep malice with me, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it at all. It's
and to be, and you know what?
Wait. Did I mute? I just muted just now, right? I thought it was Jum. I'm muted. Sorry. That wasn't Jum. I thought you said it was Jum. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just the words. We're tackling the points, right? It's RTB is trying to put some expectations there, right? The reason why people shut down or go to the extreme and call each other out on names, right? Let's not pretend that the person shutting down sometimes have not received some verbal abuse sometimes, right? Or emotional abuse, or that person has been trying to express themselves, they haven't been able to express themselves. So instead of that, they just shut down, right? So to each action, there's a reaction. To each action, there's a reaction, right? So, but it doesn't justify it because there's no two wrongs that make it right. What we're addressing is silent treatment, right? But let's just put that out there. But RTB is trying to put some expectations there and say, hey, this is a part of you that have unrealistic expectations. If you know that there's going to be conflict, which is why I did the video, right? Why wouldn't you just naturally prepare for when they happen, right? Because your coconut head still have unrealistic expectations. That's why. That is why. Let's keep going.
What pisses me off is that the type of issues that I find that becomes bigger issues that
I think this is Bumi Amara I'm seeing on this screen right here. I might be wrong, but I think that's her.
they're nothing. They're things that like nothing. Like for example, maybe if I cook something and you don't like it, I feel the way you tell me, you'll not be telling me this one I don't like. I don't know how you would tell your wife that you don't like something now.
It boils down to communication, Bumi.
I know.
It comes down to, so for instance, let's say that you're doing something, your husband doesn't like it and say, this is not how you do it. He says it in a harsh way, you know, not a loving way, because there's a way you can communicate.
Yes.
There's a way you can give feedback to someone that it will be agreeable.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, it's not everybody that will take the time to say, oh, how do I say it to make it nice?
That's a good point, right? That's a good point. Especially ladies, I tell you, as much as I teach men to be leaders, listen, they're coming softer. I'm telling you right now. I'm warning you right now. They're all coming, drizu. They're coming softer, okay? So if they are washing your pata and sharing shorts with you at home and all that kind of stuff, you should be ready to meet them in some kind of, I don't know, middle. It's still weird to me, okay? But I'm just saying that expectation that they will just carry the weight of the emotional weight sometimes, because remember, their language is not really that emotional stuff, right? They want to see the way it is and see that way and see that way and see that way, right? They put everything into a box. So when you bring something up from 2 years ago, it completely disconnects them from the situation, right? I'm talking about men right now. So that's a good thing to be aware of, so that when it's time for you to have a communication, you can say, hey, I know we're not talking about that right now. You can lead what you're saying with that. Like, I know we're not talking about that right now, but I just wanted to share something with you, because you know that it will trigger him to bring something off from 20. Now, before, right, a man understands suru, laughing, shoko, bearing. He gets it. It's like, my wife is concerned about something. She's saying something from about 3 years ago, but it must be that she's concerned about something. So he can at least stay calm, like the king that he is, right? And say, talk to me, my queen. And then you say everything in your mind and say, okay, babe, I got it. Just go and take care of things I want you to take care of, because you're probably not working. And then I'll address that issue. Maybe it's with the second wife or the third wife. Like, he can handle it, he can keep his home together either. Ideally. They have their own problems too. Ideally, right? But the reality right now these days is that people are triggering each other left and right. So Antibi is trying to say, like, not everybody is able to pick up all the pieces of your emotions ahead of you and try to say, okay, let's break it down. You too, be aware that this communication can break down. No, it will break down inevitably, and you should be ready to help in putting the pieces together when it does happen. And part of that is to not just go off the undo when you get triggered, right? Part of that is to have some emotional self-control yourself. And, you know, I still prefer, because I think it's much more sustainable, that a man carry the weight of protection, emotional protection and provision in that respect. It's actually easier for him. It simply means he doesn't have to do as much talking. But these days they're arguing with their wife and they're competing with their wife, and it's not looking good. But I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, we'll find a solution. Don't worry, we'll find a solution.
They will say it first before they will now, realize that maybe I was a bit too harsh. Okay.
Right.
And you too, but if somebody...
Oh, she's saying no one is perfect too. That's a good point, right? So when people demonstrate that they're not perfect, are you ready to pick up a little bit of the pieces?
Give you bass and you give them boost. There will be bass boost.
Auntie B.
Guess what she's gonna say?
That's the problem. I'm ready for bass boost.
No. And you say you're not confrontational. That's confrontation now.
She says she likes problems. She's ready for bass boost. She said earlier that she didn't like confrontation, right? But suddenly she likes confrontation. That's why we have to take our time on this conversation, right? So in one respect, some people like, not some people, all of us, we have our basic human needs, right? We have, number one, we have the certainty. Other times we like variety. Certainty, we need to be sure where we're going. It's a sense of security. Variety, I like you to surprise me sometimes. Be spontaneous. Right? Confusion.
Not juju be that.
That's human beings. That's why you should never make this about right and wrong. Right? That's why you must be listening actively. That's why you should understand that this is a moving target. And yesterday's rules might not apply today, right? And that's part of the game, right? Understanding that this is a moving target. So how do we solve that? Active listening. Where is that person coming from? Take your time. Nobody they rush you. They will feel heard. They will feel seen. Something that most people don't know how to do. You become top 5% in our society. Nobody can dump you for anybody else because you know how to do this so well. Because when they run to somewhere else, nobody's listening to them. Before they do a little interaction, see finish, don't enter. Nobody's listening to anybody anymore. So this is a skill set that you must learn. Active listening. Because you know that it's a moving target. Right? If you're confused, you're getting upset, count down 30 seconds. Active listening. You will never feel the need to shut down for anything more than 24 hours. Not even close. Nowhere.
That's confrontation. You see, I think we need to do more to learn how to resolve conflicts, and it's skills that we need. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the skills that we need in resolving conflict is patience.
Right. I don't have patience.
A lot of people don't have patience. You need patience. Okay. When somebody is talking to you in a way that you find very disrespectful, you need to learn the patience not to react. Or not to say something back, just to be calm and quiet.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work.
I'm working on that. I'm actually better now.
No, you can do it. Just practice it. If your husband is talking, for instance, just count up to 10 as he's talking. Just be counting in your mind. 1, instead of talking back, retaliating back and saying something. Just count 1 in your mind. Just be counting. To distract yourself, because if you are angry 100%.
Now the tricky part about that is that if you're counting 1 to 10 and you're not listening, because I just said count down 30 seconds, right? So I agree with her. Now the tricky part, see, this is skills, okay? The tricky part about that is that if you're too engaged with the counting, I have to deal with this even as a music director in church. And I start, counting. The people are counting beats. They forget that this is music. I still need to feel good. Okay, can you give me some runs? Can you use your voice? Like, it's an art, not an exact science, right? So the tricky part about that is that person needs to kind of feel your connection to what they're saying. You're actively listening. You're engaging. So initially, you might need to count. If you're very angry, you might need to count. But once you practice this, you don't need the counting because you know the purpose. You've experienced the benefit of active listening. So you have a foresight. You know exactly why you do. You know that there's greatness in actively listening to this person. So once you've tasted the goodness of active listening in a romantic relationship, you will never go back. But before you know it is when you use tactics like count down, just trust. We already know that what you've been doing did not work. Like shutting down or yelling or banging the table and things are flying off the table like the Indian movie. We already know that doesn't work and that can kill people. So now that you're learning this new thing, sometimes you have to have like guardrails, right? So how many times do you see cars touch the guardrails on the highway? It's almost like never, but once in a while there's an accident, you see a car run into that, right? But it's guardrails, right? That's the reality. So again, the idea here is that those counting is there for you as a guardrail. If you're very angry and you're learning this tactic for the first time, you count down. And then eventually with practice, you become better. Then you are listening actively. And then you're finding them interesting. We call it game because actually you're finding what they're saying interesting. You're finding the way they're thinking interesting. Are you manipulating them? No, this is for their own good. Of course, for your own good too, right? This is for their own good, for the goodness of the relationship. You're listening to them and you say, okay, I heard what you said. Let me repeat what you said. Just make sure I understand. Right? So now if you're too engaged with counting, you might have expectations. The other person might feel like you're being dismissive, right? Now, gentlemen, there's some tactics I want to share with you, but I don't want the ladies to be in the room. I don't want the ladies to be in the room. So I will hold off of this one. Okay? I will hold off of this one, all right? Okay, but what I was going to share is something that when your lady is very upset, but at the end of that conversation, she wants to have sex with you. I will hold off on that. Okay, this is where they say AG or I will say, Ola, you're being manipulative. But anyway, no worries, ladies. You will actually like the sex if it happens that way. Anyway, let's continue.
Your response is going to be done in anger.
Yeah.
And it's just going to escalate. However, if you can be quiet, I have a sister here who is so good at doing that. Dosh, are you there? Oh my God, this girl, even me, I look at her and say, how do you do? She's so calm even when everybody is going mad around her, she'll just be looking. Or she'll just stand up and walk outside. It takes a lot of learning and unlearning to do that. However, if you can master it, after a while, you can now go and say, babe, you see, this thing you said to me is not that what you are saying is wrong, but the way you said it, I don't like it. I feel like you're talking to me like a child. I'm your wife, I'm not your child. And I feel disrespected. You know, it will enter his head more then.
Yeah.
Yeah? And
Yeah.
he will find it more valuable than you just come in and say, if he shouts at you, to correct you, and you shout back. Shouting is
Yeah.
bad.
That's
Yeah.
true. I don't
Couldn't
know if I
work.
would call it malice. I just don't like fights. Like I just like to keep to myself because again, but I won't talk about
By the way, what she's describing really, really fits the avoidant attachment. Okay, this is the 4 features of avoidant attachment that I found. They are uncomfortable with emotional closeness already. Okay, not like they don't want to connect, but they may shut down or withdraw if conversations get too personal or confrontational. Right? They have trouble communicating openly. They might dislike sharing their feelings or needs. It's awkward for them. Okay, so they rather shut down. So they're going towards one pain that's easier for them than the other pain. Number 3, they are very independent. Right? I just like my own space. You heard her just say. She just said it.
fights. Like I just like to keep to myself.
I just like to keep to myself. They are very independent. They may see relying on others as weakness. They don't. Sometimes they feel like they cry. Like she says, she's crying. She doesn't want. Clearly, she does not want to cry because of that. So that sounds like a terrible thing as far as the way she put it. Like that's not a bad thing if you cry. By the way, if you want to cry, cry. If it's a real emotions, somebody says something to you, you cry. Especially as a lady, it's allowed. But she's independent. She would like to stay that way. So when she finds herself in a place of vulnerability like that, the way she responds to it is to shut down. This is what Kubel say, know your partner. I said, no, you're not his therapist. Okay? No. I refuse. Even myself, I have coconut head. Anybody saw Yula Duche today bragging about his coconut head earlier today? Okay. All right. So, no, I don't want to be bragging about coconut head. My point here is that it's not job of your partner to be your therapist. Okay. But I agree. It depends on the context that you should know your partner. But in this context, silent treatment is terrible. Full stop. You should learn better ways to communicate. They pull away during conflict. So, the shutdown, they pull away during conflict. It's not necessarily intentional. It's a style. It's part of their personality, right? As much as they're like, oh, I like to do that. It's just they've seen themselves done it for so long. So they're calling it, that's just me. But it's actually a habit that you've learned over time that you must change because you will sabotage your relationship if you keep doing it. It's a matter of time. So they pull away during conflict. They might stonewall you or end the conversation abruptly. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Okay? Anybody want to guess in my own personal relationship with my wife who is more like that? Anybody want to guess? Who tends to shut down? If we ever get into that space, we rarely ever, not in the last 5 years straight. But you guys have heard my story. You will know who if you've heard my story long enough, you know who shuts down. I'll give you a hint. It's not me. It's not me. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, it's okay. I've heard you, but you could feel it. They're being dismissive, right? And she hates when I'm being dismissive. When I first started learning how to listen, active listening, I ended up in Poto because I was being yeah. Because I ended up in Poto, I was learning to not be all, that I learned that instead of, I was trying to do the Brabeno thing, right? Know your partner. So, okay, she doesn't want to talk about it. So when she's talking, I just listened, but I wasn't engaging. So she took an offense to that. She said I was being dismissive. She could tell. And also keep in mind, almost simultaneously, she was learning these principles with me. So that came off as offensive because it was feeling like somebody is gaming somebody, like AG Ohio was saying, right? So I had to learn that it's not just about not saying anything, but also engaging. So you mean this? Is this what you mean? Okay, I understand. Like, right? Like normal human beings talking, right? So even if I'm counting, I will forget that I'm counting by the time I hit 2, right? Because I'm actually listening. I'm interested in what she has to say. Get it? Of the system Myers-Briggs personality type, introverted fillers are the most likely to avoid confrontation. Listen, message me on the back end. I think you might know this stuff more than I do. Maybe if you like to share, please, we can do another session entirely later on. Introverted fillers are most likely to avoid confrontation. Yes, avoiding confrontation is I've said it's coping mechanism. It's not somebody sitting down somewhere and say, I want to hurt you. When we engage the Uncle Benno's submission quite a bit, it almost seems like it's an attack against him. No, that's not the point of this conversation. Okay, I needed to correct him that actually you're coming off as you doing intentionally. It's not that you're not that intentional. I say that here all the time. You're not that intentional. There's something about your style that's making you do that, and it's something that you must be aware of and change, because it's actually creating damages. And the idea of it creating damages is that you won't know it's creating damages until it's too late, because it causes resentments. So. Yep, let's keep going.
Because again, but I won't talk about it.
I was talking about you.
I won't talk about it.
Yeah, you do that very well, and I really like that about you. Nina said, Auntie B, don't cuckoo scatter the table with me, chilling on top of it. Me and Malice keeping here. I need community intervention because I can keep Malice for Africa. Shameful.
Yeah, she said. See, that's an example. She said it like it's intentional, right? No, it's not exactly intentional. You don't just sit down there and like something happened that made you keep malice. You're avoiding pain. Okay? No, you don't have the foresight to say, I'm going to wait 3 days so that she can come back and apologize. No, they don't, for the most part, don't have that. That's not where it's coming from, right? For the most part, there are exceptions. For the most part, that experience is painful for them. They are avoiding pain. So when you understand that, it also helps you engage the crisis in a better way. So that, because when you engage it, this person is just being wicked to you. Of course, now you want to wicked to them, because hurt people. Naturally, you would want to respond in hurting them back, right? Because they hit you below the belt, you want to hit even lower. So it's very important to see this as no. It's not that much of an intentional act. It's certain people's way of avoiding pain, coping. Yes, creating toxic relationship, but coping. Welcome, Missy Ju. Good to see you. Let's keep going.
But what works for me is that the person that I'm now with, he does not even, he would say what's on his mind and he's finished. Me, I will not start unpacking it. It can take me hours to unpack. I'm like, So
did you notice she said what worked for me? Okay, that's what's working for you now. It doesn't have to be permanent. Like anything else, it's a learned behavior. You can unlearn it, and you can learn some better ways of coping with life in a way that you can actually build better relationships. That what work for me thing. I need a very nice sound effect for this one.
Oh my days.
It's coconut head. It's coconut head that says what work for me. Okay? After all, you like to call it what it is, right? Let's call it what it is. It is coconut head that say what work for me. Okay? There are exceptions. But that's what that is. Okay?
This is how you truly feel. You understand? So it's better communication and patience. I'm learning patience. I'm actually learning. I'm much better. I just don't like fight, because I know that when I enter fight, like,
at least she's being accountable. You heard that, right? Let's keep going.
It's WWE. Me and you will finish that fight.
So for the person that is talking about that, they are happy.
I think she's talking about the past. Sabio says the person keeping malice is who suffers, especially with someone like me. No, Sabio. No. Let's go back to what Auntie B said. If you can't comprehend the idea that a person can actually go for straight 2 weeks and not talk to a person they are having sex with, you never see anything yet. right? You will suffer. You will hate it. That's why they call it abusive. Yeah, that's why they call it abusive. Because if it's especially you, that means you are better at the game of shutting down than them. No, 2 wrongs don't make it right, remember?
Keeping malice. You know what they say? The day you realize that you have an issue, half of the problem is when you have a problem, you solve half of it already. Now you know. Okay, you are aware. Self-awareness is very important. Yeah. Now you are aware.
Self-awareness.
This thing.
Yes.
Then you not got to ask yourself, why do I do it? Why? And is it helpful? Does it solve what? Because I guarantee you, it never solves anything. Like Bill said, the person keeping malice is the one that suffers, especially with someone like who doesn't even notice. You can live with someone.
No, you will notice. So now noticing is another topic entirely. If that's a possibility at all, that's even worse. But that's another topic. That's another topic. She's going to elaborate a little bit more. But it went completely left after this even more. Let's keep
going. Who doesn't notice that you're keeping malice? They just carry on their normal everyday life. Then you be, as a woman, you've been hey,
more infuriated.
I'm not talking to you. It will pain you more.
Yeah.
Now, okay, some men, okay, gentlemen, it's terrible. Okay, you cannot notice that your wife is keeping malice with you. Like, Jesus Christ, what kind of disconnect is that? No. Another topic, but let's leave it alone.
I think we need to have better skills. We need to train ourselves to have better skills at communicating. You see, when we say communication is key, this is the communication.
Yeah. What I know that has worked for me so far from learning that I don't have patience is that I anticipate what will happen. So when I already know that that's how it is, so I don't take it personal now. So then later I'll be like, the way you said this, I don't like it. I'm just saying it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. But I anticipate. I don't take it personal like before.
So a lot of people in the comment section are giving different interpretation to malice, silent treatment, avoidance. I think whatever name you call it, it boils down to the same thing.
Same thing.
It's the same.
Same thing. We already covered this earlier on. We're talking about keeping malice, not malice. Keeping malice, particularly in Nigeria context. Silent treatment, stonewalling. That's what we're talking about. Okay. And yes, shutting down if it means more than 24 hours. That's what we're talking about. Withdrawal if it means more than 24 hours. That's the same thing. Okay. So when we talk about shutting down, had more than 24 hours to it. When we're talking about withdrawal, to had more than 24 hours to it. Right. And particularly, you're using it to avoid the pain of conflict. All right. It's a strategy. It's a terrible strategy. That's what we're talking about.
It's the same thing. We call it malice in Nigeria. In the abroad, or people call it silent treatment. It's the same. Avoidance is the same. It's when you withdraw from the person totally. You don't talk to them. You avoid them. And even when you're going to say anything, it must be.
Let me spell this out. You avoid them. You don't eat their food. You're sleeping in another room. Right? You're sleeping on your baby's bed. You're sleeping on the couch. Right? And you're doing that for more than 24 hours. We're not just talking about backing off of a conversation that has gone left for a little while so that you can come back to it. We're talking about more than 24 hours. I put the number on it. You can put any number you have on it. Make sure your number has respect for social intelligence, because most of all, we agree on a certain number here. If we count 9 out of 10 people, most of us will say that 24 hours is quite a long time. So let's not act like, oh, for me, I can go 3 weeks. What about if it's 3 weeks? What if I don't have sex for 3 weeks? Baba, something is wrong. Okay? Because you live in a society and you're living with another human being. That's, if you are that completely disconnected from society, there's a good chance you're married to a person that's not that disconnected from society. So you know what that means, right? If you don't live in a cave, don't act like you live in a cave. So you don't collect.
Sorry.
Absolutely necessary for you to say it, and you are cold, totally cold towards them.
No emotions,
no emotions, no nothing, no laughter, no joy, nothing. You don't sit with them, and if you do it for an hour, it's okay. But doing it for, we're talking about weeks.
No, I don't do it for weeks.
For months.
Let's speed it up a little bit.
No, that week, no. My own is hours, because I just want to step away and because I don't want to cry. I don't do it.
She said her own is hours.
Let's see what Yvonne had to say in that. in that when she was talking about how her husband
Malice.
was the chief malice keeper.
We have issues. I don't know how to keep malice. I don't know how to fight, walk out, and come back and see you and not talk to you. I cannot operate like that. Especially we are only 2 in a building. John Torio alone. Am I going to talk to him?
I think John Torio alone.
But he had A1 in malice. So that was what ended the marriage. It was the fact that we kept malice for 3 weeks and I was pregnant in the same house. I just packed my bags one day and I said,
can you say that? 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And she was pregnant.
A woman that is
I'm pregnant.
is very hormonal. Normally,
Terrible
pregnant women are not
idea.
normal. Like, in terms of their emotions. No. You know.
Gentlemen, whatever you did to offend her when she's pregnant, she will never forget. And a very high chance she will never forgive you, just so you know. Chi said me that, let's see. Moore says the receiving end suffers too. Ask Yvonne, it has impact. Yes, that's what she said. Of course. You know, me that always want to be in my happy frame of mind. When we have an issue, I want it resolved. Yes. So you are probably the one that will apologize way too soon without understanding. If you didn't know what you were doing. But you know better now. Chinye definitely knows better. Men hardly apologize though. What do you mean? You got some numbers? Sometimes I go vex, tired, tell myself sorry and move on. Yeah, that's the men you're dealing with. It's half. There are men that they've apologized so much, their apologies means nothing anymore. And they're wondering, but I apologize. I was like, well, why can't she just forgive and move on? Like, bro, all you do is apologize. You don't change your behavior. So it depends on who you're dealing with. Modele. I don't know if that's model or modele. That double L is confusing me. Okay. Shout out to you. It is those who have power and energy that fight. Pregnant. All right, let's keep going.
Know that.
I'm vulnerable.
Very, very pregnancy does things to you that men will never understand.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking, the most rational woman, once you are pregnant, you just, I don't know, we act differently. It's not the same thing, but no woman is the same once they are pregnant.
Yeah.
So imagine somebody pregnant and her husband is keeping malice for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Crazy. Yeah.
And that goes back to what you were saying. If you left your marriage because your husband kept malice with you for 3 weeks, how then do you downplay a woman who decided to leave her marriage because her husband left home to marry another wife without telling her?
And had a child.
Had a child, announced it publicly.
Yeah.
It's not hypocrisy. Can't you see how she's so hypocritical in what she was saying here?
Yep.
Yeah. It's always sweet until it happens to you. Then you know how it is.
I know. I'm leaving. I'm going back to my father's house. What is this?
3 weeks.
What is going on here? Like, I was be so angry. I'll leave. I get belly. He knows I get belly. I'll carry my belly.
She was pregnant
for money till like maybe 12 midnight. Because they keep malice. He no go even call me say, where you carry my belly go? Even if you didn't give it.
Me, I will call. At least. It's not like, listen, nobody's perfect here. We're just telling you. That's why I say, you saying it's just me, is cancelled out instantly because nobody is perfect here. It's either I've apologized too much or I have shut down before. Usually, it's somewhere there. There's maybe some kind of spectrum there, but it's usually skewed to one side of that, right? So nobody is perfect here. So you don't get to say, that's just me and how I act. No. Okay? If you are engaged in this conversation, you clearly don't mean what you're saying or you're not sure of yourself. Okay? But me, if I know I gave her some space and we're not talking and she carry my belly go somewhere, I'm checking. It's happened to me before. I will let her tell you the story when she comes here one day. Soon. Okay? It's happened to me before. She was pregnant and she was upset and she was gone. I went to some kind of boat ride or something like that. By the time I came back, I didn't see her. Madam, no pickup. I left a voicemail. The next, I called one of our best friends at the time, and lo and behold, she was there. Said, okay, please come home. Please. That will be a little bit closer to normal behavior. Okay, but imagine I didn't care. It's been 2 days, 3 days, 3 weeks. And somehow we're going to bring that into, I shut down for hours. That's a different conversation. That's a completely different conversation. If a person does that, that person is sick. I don't think they don't care. because they married you. But that person needs help. They need attention. We cannot normalize that. And that's what we're talking about. People will go for days, weeks, and months. And to their spouse, they seem very comfortable. But it's just they're wallowing in nonsense. They're wallowing in the funk of that toxic behavior. It is what it is. But we're not going to pretend you didn't kind of know that before. And there are methods to change that, by the way. So we're not just spelling the problems. I will give you guys solutions when we're done. Okay, but let's keep going. I'm already giving you solutions, by the way. But let's keep going.
SHIT about me. Do you understand? The concern. You don't chop. We're not going to starve my begin. There was no...
Can you call in?
Reach the begin. You know, go, wow. So when I looked at it and it was going all the way to 3 weeks, I just picked some few things.
Can you call in? How late are you willing to stay tonight? That's the question. Because me, I know I don't have an early day tomorrow. How late are you willing to stay up tonight is the question. Although there's a cookout outside, I should go and that started about 45 minutes ago. I should go and be a part of. How late are you willing to stand? You know the thing? We're going to finish just on time today because I want us to continue this week. This is all we're doing. How is that? Is that better? And we'll be able to call in at some time. So tomorrow, definitely for sure. Tomorrow will be actually earlier. We're going to do 5 p.m. tomorrow. My day, I kind of cleared my calendars for tomorrow. So we might do, she said I can stay till 10:30. No, let's continue the conversation. Today I'll finish on time just to make sure that you guys are able to not get overwhelmed, because there's a lot here that we're talking about. I would have loved to cover the Uncle Bendo's parts today, but maybe tomorrow, You want 2-1C. I get about hormones, but this lady seems annoying. Which lady? Which lady? That's a different conversation entirely. The fact you're talking about Jegede, Yvonne Jegede, the fact that she's annoying, that's a different conversation entirely. I don't really follow her, but yes, some parts of the interview were somehow. I mean, the only part of the interview I found cringy was something she apologized for. So, but let's talk about this silent treatment thing because me personally, I've been dealing with this with my clients for a while. This is a consistent issue, okay? As old as this book, 2018, August, that we've been dealing with this. It's a consistent issue. It's an epidemic. It's a pandemic. It must be addressed. It's destroying marriages, okay? And it's very tough on the other partner. It's a very tough process for them to go through. Our clients usually get to healing. Most times, success rate more than 97%. But it's a very tough process to go through for the other partner. All right, because usually we're talking about years upon years upon years of torture. Okay, they usually don't see it as torture. What they see that they might see it as correction. They might see it as, well, I couldn't get my point across to her, so hey, she can have her way, right? And it's even worse when it's a man who is on the receiving end of it, because now he's supposed to be a man, a superman. It's a very difficult process to get through, all right? Because we don't allow them to just go and engage it, because we tackle it from GPS standpoint. They have to go through the GPS aspect of it. That takes about 3 months. That's a process on its own. It's a very tough, difficult thing to go through. It's not easy, but it's worth it, So it's stuff that if we can save somebody right now from that behavior, we need to call it what it is. Silent treatment is bad behavior. It's bad behavior. It's a sign you don't know what you're doing, and you're probably going to self-sabotage, shoot yourself on the legs. All right, let's keep going.
Things, and I just went to my father's house, and that was how.
Did you at any point sit down and discuss with him?
Somebody that likes to keep malice. How do you?
Did you at some point sit down and discuss with him? Huh? Bruh, Nedu, common sense. The person keeps malice. What part of that do you not understand? The person don't want to talk when the conversations get tough. When they don't have their way, not only do they see it as you are the one that don't want you, they see you as arrogant, right? They see you as is your way or the highway, right? And they rather just it's an easier pain for them to go through. It's purely emotional. All right? They don't want to hurt you, but it's just another day. By the time it's tomorrow, there's no conversation. It's awkward. Okay, another day. Okay, it's been 2 weeks. Well, when they want to make a move, they remember the last time they made a move and they're like, oh, you're not coming to me right now. They don't want rejection. They're like, hold your kwekus. Abi your bola. I don't want to. They don't say it out in words, but this is essentially what the actions do, right? So it's not do you have a conversation? That's precisely what they were having when the person shut down, remember? Okay. But nice question though. Good question. Let's keep going.
You want to speak to that person?
I want to even say something.
I just, until today, there was no please come back. Never at one point that it was oh please come back. So times when we had issues, I don't know how to keep malice. I don't know how to fight, walk out.
So you see, it's malice that led her to leave. She said she took her things and went to her father's house and she never came back.
Yeah.
So malice is a deal breaker for a lot of people, to be honest. It is. Because it hurts. It really, really hurts.
Yeah. Aside from the malice, I feel like she said the guy didn't, ex-husband didn't even call her to say come back or what's up, let's resolve it. I think something else is going on. But malice for 3 weeks and you're pregnant. No,
Yeah.
that's a different ballgame, man.
Sorry, I'm muted again. Sorry. That was Bumi that was just talking, right? And she said it must be something else that's going on. Yes, there is something else going on. Like 3 weeks malice keeping is something else. You can actually change the name of that to something else. That is the something else that's going on. But of course, there are other things going on. There are resentments, right? Usually, this is not the first time it's happening. It's happening. No one is complaining after the first time they experience the first 3 weeks malice. I guarantee you, nobody is complaining. It's become a repetitive thing. They're exhausted. They are one leg in, one leg out. Somebody is about to leave the relationship. At least one of them. Okay? They are there like it's broken already. It's created a lot of damages, even extended to extended family. It's not just, oh, it happened the first time, so I'm complaining. Usually that's not how it goes. It's happened for years. For years. The first time it happens, it's like normalized, it's just this way. No big deal, right? The second time is like, bro. The third time is like, wait, we're about to go through another 3 weeks? Like, no. Yeah, ma binu. When they say, I apologize, ma binu, and they say, sorry. This little seed of resentment is sown inside. So I'm the only one that has to apologize all the time, eh? That's what that's what she was saying. That's what this person was saying earlier on when they generalized men. Yeah, Modele. That's what she was saying. Because she just is sorry so we can move on. But the issues are never addressed. One, because you don't want to have to deal with somebody shutting down on you again or yelling at you or some kind of abuse, either verbal or emotional, shuts down, right? You don't want to deal with that, right? But issues are not being addressed. You're somebody's child. Something's going to break at some point. There's going to be a breaking point at some point. That's when people say, we don't beg and beg and beg and you know accept. Because they didn't see everything that happened behind the scenes before that point. Let's keep going.
I can't imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot of malice keepers in the building. All of you be reporting yourself one after the other. Unique said, I'm the worst malice keeper. We eventually engage in the conversation with the person. So you can keep it depends on who you are with, though. All these malice keepers.
So when she said we'll eventually engage in the conversation with the person, sometimes you don't know if it's already too late. Right? Sometimes it might be just too late. Right? And sometimes that person is also abusive to you in other ways. Right? And you don't know if you're the one fueling it. You're probably the one fueling it. You're probably the one enabling it. Right? So it's a vicious cycle of toxic relationship.
People should work on it too. It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. Work on it because it depends on who you are with too. You can keep married with somebody and they will just leave and that's the end of the marriage. That's exactly what she did. People should work on it. Let's not celebrate what is not good. I'm happy that you people have been vulnerable by sharing that you are malice keepers, but until that, malice is not good. Silent treatment is not good.
Yeah,
it's not. We need to work on it. You can't say, "Oh, okay, you are keeping malice. What for? What have you achieved? What do you think? Has anybody who is listening, please give us a thumbs up. We have 485 people watching. Have you ever achieved anything by keeping malice with?
Let me answer that question for Auntie B. They have achieved something, but what they achieve is short-term solutions. Remember, people just don't do this because they want to be evil. They do it because it's an avoidant style, right? They are avoiding pain, okay? I think some people call it attachment style, right? They once it gets toxic, they will avoid you like a plague, okay? It's not something that they have to think about so hardly, okay? They might defend it about 40 years down the line, but because they see that, okay, I accept, it's just me. No, don't accept that too. It can be changed. It starts with self-awareness, like Auntie B said, right? But what they're gaining from it is short-term relief of the pain of engaging in that conversation, right? They don't, and so why does it extend beyond 24 hours? It gets awkward, but they are comfortable in that type of pain rather than confronting the issues or any type of hard conversations, right? The reality is that you don't have to engage hard conversations in your romantic relationships forever. It just takes two people that have managed to come to a table where they are coached properly. No, it's not. People say, oh, sometimes you have to have hard conversation. I barely have hard conversation with my wife. Okay? Barely. But that's a function of the work we've done. Okay, I mean, just like you expect, and it's like expecting like an engineer that has worked for 25 years and you say they have to overthink the Pythagoras theorem. No, they don't have to overthink that anymore. Some things just comes off as second nature. Okay, so it's not a situation where work, they make it sound like marriage is hard. Yeah, marriage is if you want to call it hard, but anything that's worthwhile in life, yes, it's going to take hard work to get to a place where it becomes second nature, where it's no longer hard. It's not hard forever. Don't let anybody tell you that either. It's not hard. It doesn't have to be hard forever. Okay? It's hard. It's harder if you've created damages to come out of the damages, right? Right? And what most people do is they dig deeper, they dig the hole deeper and deeper, and then it gets harder to come out, right? So it's harder when you have damages. Harder, Harder. All right.
Your spouse or your partner, anybody who's ever achieved anything with malice or silent treatment, as you call it, please tell us what's the benefits.
They'll buy you chocolates after they come and beg you.
They'll come and beg you after how many? After you suffer for how long? After is ever for how long? That lot of people say, Obodo Yoruba disagree. Keeping malice not be abuse. After all, it is not an arrestable offense. It is the best way to resolve an issue.
All right, so let's finish today here. Clap for yourself. Let's applaud ourselves. We're going good. This is this week, okay? All right, so let's address this one on the screen before we leave. Obodo Yibo, I disagree. Keeping malice no be abuse. After all, it is not an arrestable offense. I don't even know how to answer this one, honestly. It's not. First of all, it's not a question. It's a statement. It is the best way to resolve an issue. I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. Yeah, let's leave that one alone. Okay. That person is wrong. Sometimes I might pay you're right for that person, the person's wrong. Arrestable as how? Okay, let's just let's just leave that alone. I can't, no. Sometimes you're like, let's just dignify it with diplomatic. Like, no, not everybody, not every statement needs the diplomatic energy. Yeah. I think the person was trolling. Especially when they start with I disagree. They troll and to be so every now and then. He had many weird comments on that day. Oh, he did. Oh, okay. So let's not worry about it. All right. But I think today, okay, I guess we're not going to get to Uncle Beno's session today. Today, I think just the definition, what we're discussing is silent treatment. Okay? Silent treatment. I'm going to leave you with this today. Also, we have an old chapter in this book called Silence is Golden. So it might actually come off as contradictory until you really understand the full context. Our chapter 2 in this book is Silence is Golden. But really what he's talking about is that if you are engaged with a person that's giving you silent treatment, it's an opportunity. Okay? Crisis, problems are opportunities. Don't give your problems away to the other person. Engage them. Listen to it. There's something, you're about to be elevated to another level entirely. If you're dealing with a spouse that gives you silent treatment and you've been on the receiving end of that, you're absolutely correct. I understand if you feel like it's abusive. It is abusive. But oftentimes people will be abusive. They're not necessarily coming from a place of intentions. It's just their way of coping with life. They don't have the skills. They don't know what they're doing. But fortunately, I should say, you're married to that person right now. Okay? And by the way, crises are opportunities. It's an opportunity for you to elevate yourself. So that silence is golden. The question is that, what are you going to do with that? What makes it golden? It's not golden on their end. They shouldn't just be doing silent treatment because it's golden. That's terrible. Okay? But if somebody is giving you silence, it's an indication that they need space. You should allow the silence to run its full circle. What you've been doing, if you've been on the receiving end of it, is that you've been apologizing way too soon before you even understand what's going on. You've been apologizing to patch the issue so we can just move on, like Modeli said. And you find yourself in the same potopoto again just a few days later or a few weeks later. Anytime there's a crisis, you will find yourself in that space again. You should allow it to run its full cycle. Now, running its full cycle will shock them. Okay? It's not indefinite. No, you cannot live with the person who is giving you silent treatment forever. It's not sustainable. No, you can't. Okay? Something will break at some point. But I'm saying it's a cycle. This particular one going on is a cycle. Let it run its course. What are you going to do? What is going to make it golden is the question. It's an opportunity for you to engage your personal self-improvement. Okay? You need the space more than you realize yourself. You need the space. You just have been spending most of your energy appeasing the other person. And you have resentments that you must now process and get rid of. So take advantage of this cycle while it's running its course to work on that. By the time you get back to the cycle run itself, you know what it looks like. They'll come around, they act like everything is good. They act like they got them near Justin talk to you for like 3 weeks. Like, literally, like, are you mad? Right? They act like that. It's okay. It's the cycle that just finished. Okay? When that happens, now they have to earn. They have to do the work. Okay? And there are strategies around how to get them to do the work, but it's easier to get them to do the work at that point in time because they must learn. All right? They must learn that silent treatment will not work long term. It's either you decide it now or something will break later on. It cannot work long term. Okay? And you have to now seduce them to actually do the work. What do you mean seduce? Is that game? So like, bruh, get comfortable with it. You have to seduce them. There's power dynamics. There's forces actively working against your relationship. And it will destroy it if you don't get that person on your team as soon as possible. If you keep acting like this person is your enemy, you're going to manifest it. It's going to happen sooner or later. All right. That's why I want to leave you today. We're going to continue note this, we're exactly 55 minutes point. We're going to continue from exactly that space tomorrow. I'm 6 minutes over time already. All right. Chinye says, Ekene APC Bishop comes with different accounts to throw. Oh, I don't think Ekene APC, the actually APC Bishop is that smart. Sorry. Sorry. I didn't mean for Ekene. Maybe Ekene. I don't think Ekene would throw like that too. But APC Bishop is not that smart. But there are people like them. Okay, when I say smart, I mean like English. I'm okay. All right. Don't let me talk too much. Sorry. All right. You guys. That's it for today. Hopefully, you've been enlightened and educated. All right. Let's push the calling till tomorrow. All right. Maybe we start early. Maybe we finish the reaction early, and then we start early. Then I will also have enough time the rest of the night to really go through, the regular one. Yep. All right. Thank you, D-Love. I see you in the background there. Ekene APC Bishop is not the real Ekene or APC Bishop. These niggas are the same people. Okay? They're the same people. But you know what I mean? Not the same person, but the same people. Mindset-wise. Same people. But they're all our brothers. We're going to teach them. They're all here. They're listening behind the scenes. We're gonna teach ourselves. We're gonna rub minds together, learn together until we get this right. Trust me, it's working. Trust me when I tell you it's working. Please hit the like button on your way out. Thank you. Hit the like button on your way out. Let's make this go viral. We had a viral video earlier on talking about Andrew. I'm like, why is that one going viral? It has like 2,800 views out of nowhere. Get out of here. Let's do some real work. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you. Hit the like button. Thank you. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.